Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and let me tell you what, my youngest, he had to go get glasses, and then we got him some contact lenses, and you hadn't heard drama until you listened to this kid and his mother arguing over trying to get those contacts in. For the last week, I've been listening to them fight over, because he kind of freaked out about how you can't get them in and all that, and this idea of touching your eyeball. He finally this morning got the things in, and I thought that, okay, well now it's cool. And then all of a sudden, I hear them going at it again. One of them fell out or this or that, and then he's mad because he doesn't want to wear the glasses. He wants to wear the contacts, but he can't get the contacts in. My son and his mother are thick as thieves, but because of that, they clash with each other. It's weird how kids are total opposites. One's got my personality, one's got her personality, but the one with my personality is on his mother's team. The one without my personality is the one I'm closer with most of the time. Not closer with, but he and I spend more time together. That's wrong too, but we don't clash like that. Tell you what, DNA is powerful stuff, because these kids inherit personalities, they inherit mannerisms. It's not just looks that they inherit. Which reminds me, one of my favorite shows on television has always been Dateline NBC. I saw one the other day that fascinated me. Usually these cases nowadays are solved with DNA eventually, especially the cold cases. I had no idea, but they had developed DNA now, where they can take your DNA and then they can create a face that looks just like you. They can predict what your face looks like. They literally caught a criminal in one of them, a murderer that I was watching one of these, by doing a new DNA test, and it showed the guy's face what it would look like, and somebody recognized it and they found the murderer. Wild. Okay, now that we got that out of the way. All right, check this out. So everybody freaked out yesterday. The market's going down and all this stuff, and end of the world. Boy, I bought those dips. I wanted to buy the one last night, but I was waiting on my money to be right. So I didn't get to buy it last night. It had dipped down pretty good, like below $2. Man, that one I kind of regret, but I did buy 2 or 3 dips over the last few days, so I'm in good shape. Another day, another XRP poll that it wins. Let me hit the refresh button on this altcoin daily poll. 35% XRP over Ethereum, Cardano, and Solana. There are no coincidences. Now, folks, I want to play you got to watch this Patrick Bet-David video again. You don't understand how important this is. I'll tell you my thoughts on it before you listen to it again. This is the exact same mental exercise myself and most XRP enthusiasts went through to arrive at the logical conclusion that XRP is just better than Bitcoin. It was designed for this exact purpose. The Bitcoin marketing machine and its regulatory monopoly have convinced people to ignore what they see right in front of their face. It's created a market deception. The market you're looking at today is not the real market, because Bitcoin's had a regulatory monopoly and their marketing machine for all these years. It's not real, the market that you've seen to this point, until you see the Ripple case dropped. The Ripple case dropped, the legislation, all the things, the banks coming in, because if they own Bitcoin, they're not going to be using Bitcoin. The utility is going to, for the first time since this entire industry was born, utility is going to come in play. And that I put here, Patrick Bet-David will not be the only person to wake up to reality. The entire world will. It's XRP. It was never Bitcoin. That's why they hate it so much, and why it's the most attacked digital asset on the planet.
Actual usage of the technology, when you pull it up and you compare the two against each other, here's what you'd come up. When it comes down to transaction speed, you notice Bitcoin 10 minutes, XRP 3 to 5 seconds. Transaction cost, high during congestion, XRP very low. Decentralization, we talked about that use case.
Decentralization on that part, if he said it wasn't decentralized, that part's wrong. That's just Bitcoin lie narrative.
Store of value, person to person, XRP cross-border systems, supply.
XRP can be a store of value too. Only difference is when you're ready to move it, it's faster and less expensive.
21 million, XRP 100 billion.
100 billion, that's deflationary. XRP's burned on every transaction.
Energy use is high, XRP low. Adoption, broad mainstream, XRP niche institutional.
Nope, it's not niche institutional. It's made for institutions, but that doesn't mean it's just for that. I mean, we can buy it for now. I wouldn't be surprised if one day you can't get it as a retail investor.
So if you look at this, of course, like, well, that XRP is better. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, that is, of course.
You pull up another chart. This other chart talks about...
All right, we don't need to play the rest of it. I got too much more. He says, who would you like on the podcast next? And look who flooded his comment section. Brad Garlinghouse, Brad Garlinghouse, Brad Garlinghouse. Even a picture. Brad Garlinghouse, Brad Garlinghouse, Brad Garlinghouse. Boom, boom, boom. All over the place, Brad Garlinghouse. If there was ever a good time to have Brad Garlinghouse on, now's the time. Now, I want to mention first, both of these guys, XRP Las Vegas is going to be here in a couple months, folks. The time's running out here. You better hurry up. In fact, I was looking at restaurants, hotels, all that stuff. I've already booked and everything, but I was looking at restaurants. There's a few restaurants I haven't eaten at that I wanted to go eat at, so I was getting reservations and all. You better go ahead and start thinking about this if you're thinking about going. Bitcoin Las Vegas is going to be that week too. I'm looking forward to it. Now, both of these guys, Matt Hogan from Bitwise and Paul Barron, who runs the Paul Barron Network, they're going to be at XRP Las Vegas. Paul Barron's going to actually have a booth set up where he's doing interviews. So that'll be cool. So watch this. Matt Hogan is one of the few Bitcoin maxis that gets it.
Well, with that being said,
don't get me wrong. He's still clouded by all the Bitcoin stuff, but he at least is being intellectually honest.
First of all, do you think the Japanese will continue to buy XRP? They seem to be all in on this.
Yeah, super fascinating question. I know there is significant demand. I think you can't rule it out. You look at the top 4+ crypto assets, and they're firms making major strategic bets on those assets and building reserves and building in that ecosystem. XRP is certainly one of them, alongside Solana and ETH and Bitcoin. And I don't think investors should count out any of those assets becoming or really emerging as geopolitically important and strategically important for companies and countries around the world. I think they're major parts of the future.
The amount of XRP being held by Japanese people has now surmounted the amount of Ethereum being held. So that's a pretty big move. You know, when you look at the comparisons, Bitcoin, of course, at 65%. Now XRP holding a commanding lead at 18% as the number 2 asset. So a lot happening here. What do you think happens on April 16th? Well, how would XRP respond? How would the market respond here on April 16th?
On April 16th.
That's potentially when the lawsuit would be final.
I think the market would love it, right? I do think, from my 30,000 foot view, specific to XRP, I think there is a significant chunk of the crypto market that has sort of written it off or forgotten about it. And I think that part of the market is wrong. I think the reality is XRP has been, suppressed by litigation for multiple years. And we don't
suppressed by regulatory capture, that is?
Yet know what it can do on the global stage when it's sort of freed from those restraints. And I think if we get full clarity and we can now see true business development opportunity in the US and abroad without that sort of Damocles hanging over it, then I think we'll see what XRP can do in the market. I don't think there's any guarantee it will be enormously successful, but there's equally no guarantee that it won't be, right? And I think anyone who sort of proclaims one or the other is wrong at this point. So I think the market would react very well to that day when and if it comes. And then I think it'd be an exciting year to follow, see how it does.
This would be great timing if this case is settled for the Bitwise ETF to launch on XRP. So what's the timing look like right now for a Bitwise XRP ETF?
Yeah, obviously when we have a live filing, we're restricted from what we can say.
Sure.
The limited part that I can say is we continue to push forward, and we don't file for ETPs for fun. We file for ETPs because we think they can launch, and we think there is a significant audience, and we think it's an important asset. And so all of those are intact, across all the funds that we have filed for. And yeah, the day after tax day would be a beautiful day.
That'd be a beautiful time, right? Everybody's out from under it. If they got a refund, then they need to go spend it somewhere.
All right. And look what Fred Rispoli says. Although there's no formal reason requiring it, it is reasonable to speculate that SEC versus Ripple case is resolved, or at least something significant happens before Ripple's filing deadline of April 16th, 2025. Let's keep an eye on it and hope. Look at this. I'm not saying Trump is intentionally crashing the market, but what is happening is by the market going down and all, it will potentially pressure Powell to lower interest rates, which he was probably going to do anyway. But I find this an interesting little argument. Now, this is also Matt Hogan on this market that we're experiencing, what he thinks about it.
I absolutely think the market has this wrong. You're 100% correct that the market is short-term disappointed that the government didn't come out and say it's going to immediately start acquiring 100 or 200,000 Bitcoin. It did say it will look for budget-neutral ways to do so in the future, and I expect the U.S. government to figure out a way to increase its Bitcoin stores over time. But regardless of that, I think that's the wrong question to ask. I think the right question to ask is, did this executive order make it more likely that in the future, Bitcoin will be a geopolitically important currency or asset? Will other governments look to follow the U.S.'s lead and build their own strategic reserve? And to me, the answer to that is emphatically yes. The reason that question matters is that's the question that determines if Bitcoin is, $80,000 a coin or $1 million a coin. So I think this is a short-term setback. I think the market will soon find its footing and realize that actually this is incredibly bullish long-term for this asset and for crypto as a whole.
And this could be yet another wrong question to be asking, maybe short-term, short-sighted, perhaps, Matt. But what would be some of the budget-neutral ways to...
Okay, we don't need to get into all that. Now, if you want to join the Patreon, go to daixrp.com. If you'd rather join through YouTube, go below this video, click the join button. We do the extended videos with no advertising in there. We've got a lot more to cover. I'm going to show you, we're going to talk about the big picture, about why all this stuff is short-term stuff. And we're also going to show you the Bitcoin Maxi's worst nightmare realized. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.